So not only do we have a Calico cake batter in our marble cake, we are also going to be doing a Calico buttercream decoration with the shag decor. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the buttercream shag decor, but it's really kind of a cool look, and it's probably one of the easiest cake decorating techniques that you could do, because it really doesn't take any skill. You just need a special tip, which is a grass tip, and a couple different colors of buttercream. So I'm going to be making a quick chocolate buttercream with just a portion of my vanilla buttercream that I've mixed ahead of time, and that was a cocoa paste that I added. It's my favorite way to make chocolate buttercream, from equal parts cocoa powder and boiled water, and you just mix that together to a paste and then add it cold to your buttercream. So you know, buttercream tends to be super sweet to begin with, so to add like melted chocolate to it, which has more sugar, I prefer to do the cocoa paste method, because if you've ever added cooled melted chocolate to buttercream, sometimes you get specks in there and you end up with like a chocolate chip buttercream, which is not really what we're going for. So for me, the cocoa powder is not only cheaper than chocolate, but it doesn't add sugar to your buttercream recipe, and you'll never get chocolate chips, speckles in your buttercream by using the cocoa paste method. Now for the second color, or flavor I should say, in the shag buttercream is going to be pumpkin, to match the pumpkin batter in the cake. So I make pumpkin buttercream by adding straight up pumpkin puree to my buttercream recipe. And let's see, I need a little spoon. I'm also going to be adding some pumpkin pie spice directly to that, probably just like about a half a teaspoon, to the vanilla buttercream recipe. And again, just mix that smooth. Now, you know, I eyed this. You see, I didn't really measure anything here, but I've done this so many times that I pretty much have the ratio down pat. And of course, on my website at GretchensVeganBakery.com is where I list out all the recipes for not only the cake, but the buttercream and how much to add of everything to pull off this cake. So the thing about adding liquids and puree, pumpkin puree is technically a liquid. You have to really be careful of adding too much, otherwise you're going to break your buttercream. And you know, I'm sure you've all seen a broken buttercream before, and that's just when the liquid outnumbers the ratio of fat in the recipe, and then you have sort of like a curdled mixture. So that could be taken care of obviously by using the right amount, but also by just continuing to mix, and it should come back together. So that's going to be a nice subtle pumpkin buttercream for my shag calico cake decor. And of course then I do have the vanilla buttercream, which is going to be the third color or flavor for this cake. The hardest part for me is doing this on camera, because I'm on the side of this cake, so you guys get the view that I should be having. And so I'm not quite sure how this looks until I see it from this angle. So anyway, this really is an easy decorating technique, and it is fun to do. You don't need any real skills to pull it off. It's just blobs of buttercream in whatever colors you like. So if you don't really want to do, you know, the pumpkin chocolate vanilla marble cake, you could always just use my same vanilla cake recipe and just add food color to it and marble it with some different colors. So comment below and let me know if you love the chocolate pumpkin vanilla combo like I do, or if you would actually do different colors. I mean, like, you know, think about it, for like a little girl's birthday party or something, with, you know, all the different colors that she loves, or sports colors for somebody who's a sports fan. Like, it's really endless what you could do with these recipes and with these decorating techniques. So let me go ahead and finish this and get a better angle on this so it doesn't look like an absolute monstrosity. And then we're gonna roll right into mixing the vanilla cake recipe, and I'll show you how to divide that up into the 3 different flavors, all with one recipe. You do not have to mix 3 separate cake recipes to pull this off. It really is simple. And if you haven't made my bakery style yellow cake recipe yet, you really need to, because it is so versatile and it really does make such beautiful cakes. The only reason I wear gloves is because my hands are absolutely destroyed. I'm a nail biter and I'm constantly in the garden digging in the dirt, so deal with it. My bakery yellow cake recipe is at it again. One easy recipe to make this marble bundt cake with 3 different flavored batters. This is like the easiest recipe to mix. It is what I call a muffin method, because it's literally just pouring the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. And so the dry ingredients are flour, baking soda. There's also sugar in this bowl, and I'll always add the sugar to the dry ingredients with a muffin method like this one. Basically, it's just wet ingredients into the dry, and the wet ingredients are, I do a combination of melted vegan butter and oil together. You could use all of one or the other. I just really do prefer the vegan butter with the oil combination. I have done it with all oil and I have done it with all vegan butter, and I really do just prefer the mixture. So I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla extract to that, and that really is how simple it is to make my bakery style yellow cake recipe. So just kind of give that a good whisk until it's nice and smooth. You can do this in a mixer, like an electric mixer, of course, but it's just so easy to mix that I really always just do it by hand. So we're going to get that smooth, and then to make the little bit of chocolate batter to marble in and then the pumpkin batter to marble in, I am going to divide this batter into 3 separate bowls so that I can do that. I am using a scale so that I can have the exact amount of batter that I want without like having too much of one or the other. So I've worked this out perfectly so that I do have a little bit extra vanilla batter and the same amount of chocolate batter and pumpkin batter. So you don't have to measure it. You can kind of eye it if you prefer, but I really wanted this to be perfect. And to be perfect, you sometimes need to have a scale. So while this is a really easy cake to pull off, it's really just one recipe, including the buttercream. That's just one recipe, but you do need a lot of bowls. So there's an incredible amount of dishes that goes along with making this cake. So this is going to be my chocolate batter. It's simply cocoa powder that's been mixed with a little bit of oil. And the oil kind of helps it, because if you ever added straight cocoa powder to a vanilla cake batter to make it into a chocolate cake, you'll notice that it does absorb a lot of the liquid in the batter, and it kind of can make your vanilla cake recipe a little bit dry. So by adding a spot of oil, that's going to sort of offset that. So that's my chocolate batter. And now we're going to add pumpkin puree with some pumpkin pie spices to the other portion of the vanilla cake. So I have a feeling people are going to be asking me, well, can I just use your bakery yellow cake to make all pumpkin or all chocolate? Well, yeah, actually you can. Just kind of do the math times 3 for the entire batter. So my oven is already preheated to 375 degrees. As soon as I put this in the oven, though, I'm going to turn it down immediately to 350. So I'm really just going to alternate this cake batter until there is no more. Now this is a 6-cup bundt pan. If you did want to make the larger 12-cup bundt pan, then you would just simply double this recipe. When I made this recipe the first time, there was slightly too much batter in the 6-cup bundt cake, and it really did rise up really beautifully, but it was a little bit too much, and I had to cut the bottom off the bundt cake after I flipped it upside down. So to avoid doing that and to have waste, I kept out enough batter to make about, I don't know, 3 or 4 cupcakes. So keep that in mind if you, and I'll make notes of that on the blog post as usual, that it was just slightly too much batter for the entire 6-cup bundt. But yeah, who's opposed to having a few cupcakes, right? Not me. So I have been really MIA lately. I have not filmed a video in close to a month. I have been down and out with some really bad back pain, and it's been really hard for me to stand up for longer than, I mean, even an hour starts to just kill me. So, you know, filming these videos and first of all prepping everything in the kitchen before I'm ready to film a video, it's just hours, and the whole video process from start to finish is like half a day, and I'm just standing up on this concrete floor and my back just can't handle it. I've had really bad back issues since about 2017, when my back just had enough and it finally just blew out, and for about 2 months I couldn't even stand up on my own body weight. So but it got better over time, but you know, now it's just getting worse again. So I figured, geez, by the time I get back to filming a video, it's going to be Halloween. So I started formulating in my head all of the fall and winter recipes, which is why I'm doing this pumpkin calico cake in the middle of August. But you know what? Time is going so fast that pumpkin season is upon us, and it'll be here before you know it. So love it or hate it, it's coming. So comment below and let me know if you are a pumpkin everything person or if you absolutely loathe pumpkin season, because it's literally like pumpkin everything soon. But this is a really great recipe. It's so tasty. I did a couple of tests first. Originally, I was going to mix 3 separate recipes, and I was like, this is way too much work, and nobody's gonna do that. Like, nobody's gonna want to mix 3 separate cake batter recipes just to make one marble bundt cake. Like, so I revamped my whole idea, and I'm telling you what, I really do love this cake recipe. Even though the dishes were piled up to the ceiling, like, it's totally worth it. This is such a really delicious, dense pound cake textured cake batter that really can stand up alone. It doesn't need the buttercream decoration for sure. This cake batter bakes perfectly into loaves. You can make layer cakes out of it. Of course, cupcakes, as I showed you before. So again, all of the written instructions and the recipe is at Gretchen'sVeganBakery.com, where I really explain everything maybe a little bit better than I do in the video, because I'm always just trying to think of too many things, like make sure my camera's on, make sure the audio is on, do I have the lighting? Like, there's so many things to think about to pull off a video like this. So a really great big thank you to my patrons on Patreon and my pals in PayPal who are making this happen. They are funding this effort. This is a viewer supported channel, because Lord knows YouTube ain't doing nothing to help the creators. So if you think you can help support the channel for as little as a cup of coffee a month, click the links below to find out how. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy vegan baking. Bye for now.